will be sent away for the Maroons by Ben Cheney, the senior. He approaches the football, and it is a short kick. It's going to be taken by Dougherty near the 38-yard line, and so the Spartans will get some favorable field position as Chicago ripped the ball away from Dougherty. And I'm not sure if they called him down, Ed, or not, but it looks like the Spartans will keep it.
Well, the forward momentum had stopped long before Chicago managed to rip the ball loose. And I think that's what the officials on the sideline say. Look, the play was over.
So Case will have it at the 40-yard line. It was a 2-yard return by Dougherty. And here we go. Just underway on Senior Day at Case Western Reserve University. DeSanto Field on a 33-degree Saturday afternoon. One of the 8 seniors honored today, Billy Beecher, hands to fellow senior Manny Secray on the first play of the football game. Straight ahead for a gain of about 4 for the senior out of Miami.
As that basic read option for Case Western, but they do it out of a 4-wide receiver set that now becomes a 5-wide receiver set on 2nd and 6.
Empty backfield, 3 on the left, 2 on the right for Beecher. They'll send Secray in motion, and Beecher will wing it out, caught by Brian Erb on the left, gets outside the numbers at about the 47-yard line. That's going to be a pickup of 3, and Ed, let's check that Spartan starting offensive unit.
Well, for Case Western, they'll start with that 4-wide receiver set. And that'll include Billy Beecher at quarterback. Manny Secray is the running back. And on the wide receiver set, Sean Lepsevic and Brian Erb.
Beecher to throw it over the middle, and the pass dropped, intended for Dougherty, the tight end. And he was well covered. The ball might have been poked away on a little reach around. And that will bring up 4th down for Case, 4th and 2.
Surprised at that call that you're going to go downfield 12 or 15 yards on 3rd and 2 after you 1 on 1st down, 1 on 2nd down. Now a late flag comes flying in. Illegal substitution against Case Western.
So the Spartans will walk it back. It'll take it from 4th and 2 to 4th and 7. No score first quarter, 13:52 to go. Spartans now will line up potentially to go for it on 4th and 7. Let's see if this is just a ruse or if they do punt it away. Beecher is going to step aside now, and here is the kick. And a high punt and a fair catch called for and taken at the 30-yard line of the Maroons. That ends up being a 27-yard punt with no return, and the Maroons will come out offensively.
Now, in years past, Dave, we've seen Case in that traditional 4-3 set, and occasionally it's a 4-2 with 5 defensive backs, but this year that's switched, and the personnel has allowed Case Western to go more with a 3-4 set defensively, with Doty, Rogers, and Snyder up front for the Spartans.
Patrick Ryan is the quarterback, and this, as Ed mentioned earlier, a primarily running-oriented team. They hand it to Zach Ross Nash, the senior. He plows ahead to the 35-yard line, a pickup of 5 for Zach Ross Nash, who is averaging 76 yards per game on the ground.
To finish out that Case defense at linebacker, the 4 linebackers are Lemaster, Sandage, Weisberg, and Peterson. Peterson leads the team in tackles. And the defensive secondary, O'Donnell and Williams on the outside. The safeties are Esteban and Scott Sturin.
2nd down and 5. They'll snap it back to Ryan. Hands it up the middle. This is Zach Ross Nash again. And he plows ahead again. Some good hard-nosed running, and he gets the 1st down as he's out to the 42-yard line, a pickup of 7. And so Zach Ross Nash with 12 quick yards on his first 2 carries.
And just avoiding the landmines, you know, a little jump to the left and then a cut back to the right and finds a seam and dives ahead, and all of a sudden he's got 7 more on 2nd down, and the sticks have moved for Chicago.
Just one wide receiver on this set. It's Sam Coleman. He splits out to the right. Patrick Ryan, a senior, 5'11", 207 out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and they run it straight ahead again. And this will pick up about 4 as it gets across the 45-yard line out to the 46.
Yeah, all season, Chicago's only completed 89 passes in 8 games. So they only complete about 11 passes a game. They only attempt about 15 or 16 a game. They are run-oriented on the ground consistently. And that offensive line has the bodies to show it. They average 6'3", 278 up front.
They are big. They will run it out to the left side, turning the corner with it, getting across midfield. Zach Ross Nash again carrying the football.
Now Nash was hit at the Maroon 48-yard line, Dave, but it wasn't clean. He managed to spin away from initial contact and still dive ahead for 3 more yards, which instead of a 3rd and 4, all of a sudden becomes 3rd and 1.
Their backup running back, Chandler Carroll, is a freshman, 5'8", out of Alexandria, Indiana. Zach Ross Nash is in there now to the left of Patrick Ryan. That is Coleman in motion. They fake a handoff. Ryan will throw it. They go to Nash out of the backfield, running laterally, and he is cut down by Gavin Sandage. Good defensive pressure by the Spartans.
Yeah, no gain on the play. It was a little delay by the tight end, and he didn't get deep enough. He didn't get beyond the sticks, and Sandage did a nice job just riding him horizontal across the field. Didn't let him turn his shoulders, get upfield, and Sandage brought him down for no gain in a 4th down situation for the Maroons.
Leaves him a yard short. 4th down and 1 from the Spartans' 49-yard line. So Ben Cheney will come out to punt this one away. Cheney awaiting the snap, but a whistle blows, and I believe they did not get the play off, delay of game. And so they'll back it up 5 yards. Sean Lapsevic is back deep to return the punt. And now it looks like Chicago will take a timeout, so we will take one as well. Chris Wilkerson will talk things over. It'll be 4th and 6 for Chicago. 10:37 to go, no score on Senior Day. Back with more from DeSanto Field after this 30-second timeout on the Spartans Broadcasting Network.
Intercontinental Suites has been transformed into much more than a hotel. It is a center of wellness and tranquility, featuring renovated suites, an expanded fitness center, and pure rooms for guests requiring the most allergen-resistant rooms on the market. C2, our Mediterranean-style restaurant and bar, accentuates the ambiance of relaxation and rejuvenation. Chef Omar Jones has designed a menu full of fresh, locally grown herbs and vegetables, along with a flavorful cuisine inspired by the beneficial Mediterranean diet. Call the Intercontinental today at 216-707-4300 or visit us at hotelsclevelandclinic.com or on Facebook.
Here's Cheney's punt as we get back to action. Lapsevic muffs it. It's loose. Looks like Chicago has it at the 15-yard line.
Looking right up into the sun, and Lapsevic knew he was going to have issues before the play. There he tried to catch it on the run. He caught it off his shoulder pads. He let it get deep into his body. It got loose, and the Maroons come up with the first turnover of the game. Last year at home, Chicago here at DeSanto Field committed 4 turnovers of their own. They had 2 punts blocked. Today, Case makes the first mistake, and it's Lapsevic looking up into the sunlight on the punt. And all of a sudden, Chicago's got it inside the Spartan red zone.
Junior running back Ben Clark picked up the fumble and secured it for the Maroons, so they now begin this drive in the red zone. Football is marked at the 15, 1st and 10. Here's Ryan. He will run it on a quarterback keep straight up the middle and slides through a hole there, gets inside the 10, and Ryan tackled or down at the 8-yard line. Patrick Ryan, as a rushing quarterback, has carried the ball now 61 times on the season for a net of about 18, but he has rushed for 183 yards, and you take away the sacks. So he can run it, as we saw right there. He picked up 5. They will hand this one to Carroll, and he slides out to the outside just before he got to the numbers and then dives forward to the 5-yard line. Chandler Carroll averaging 62 a game to go with Nash's 76.
That's the difference between Nash and Carroll there, Dave. You see the freshman take that ball, and as he got to the edge, he stutter stepped instead of just going to the outside. And Case was driven back into the middle. Their defensive containment wasn't there.
Maroons are 7-1 and threatening. Zach Ross Nash powers straight ahead. He's in for the touchdown. That is a 6-yard touchdown run for Zach Ross Nash, his 9th rushing TD of the season, and the Maroons take an early 6-0 lead with 9:05 to go here in the first quarter.
Capitalized on the turnover. It took just 3 plays to go 15 yards.
Place kicker is Carol Kurdzalowski, and he boots the extra point up and good. And it's a 7-0 Maroons lead. 9:05 to go in the first quarter. The Spartans will try and answer when they get the ball back after this 30-second timeout on the Spartans Broadcasting Network.
Everyone loves a comeback, right? Especially when that comeback is Queso Diablo from Qdoba, full of spicy satisfaction to take you straight to queso bliss. That fiery, smoky sensation you've been craving has returned. Celebrate the comeback of Queso Diablo, available now and for an infinite time, only at Qdoba Mexican Grill.
Welcome back, everybody. David Wilson along with Ed Dougherty. One final time we get the dynamic duo back together.
I know, it's a little different. I had to find my way into the press box today.
Yeah, folks up here didn't recognize you. They wanted to see ID.
It's been a while, and almost a full year.
Well, great to have you back. As we appreciate Brendan Gulick filling in for you, as you have a very considerable high school football schedule.
Extensive travel this year.
Short kick be taken at the 12-yard line by the Spartans. This will be run back by Cody Calhoun. Gets out across the 30 and cut down at about the 36-yard line. Good open field tackle there on the defensive coverage by the Maroons by our old friend Skyler Montefalco. Skyler, now a senior out of Cathedral High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. He's made some big tackles over the year against the Spartans.
Yeah, 3-year starter, 4-year player for the Maroons.
Beecher back out. The senior hands to Manny Secre. He's wrapped up in the backfield and pushed to the turf. Might have lost one on the play.
Now there you see the difference. Case using 3 freshmen on the offensive line, trying to work them in for the future. And the difference between them blocking at the Division I level or Division III level here and the Chicago Maroons, who are just blowing people off the ball. They have 4 of the 5 players on their offensive line are seniors.
Be a long day in the trenches for the Spartans. Here's a quick route to Brian Erb. He is able to make the catch and then step out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That's a pickup of 5. And Case looking now at a 3rd and 6. 7-0 Chicago, 8:19 to go. We're in the first quarter here on Senior Day at DeSanto Field. Beecher fires it out. It's caught by DiFrancesco close to the first down marker, Ed, but I think just a little bit short at the 45. They need to get to the 46.
Yeah, DiFrancesco had to step in to make that catch. He had to avoid or had to protect the ball from the defensive back, and in the process, it cost him that extra yard and the first down.
DiFrancesco, the freshman, with his 29th catch of the season. He's had a nice freshman debut year. He's out of Johnstown, PA, but a yard short. 4th and 1, and the Spartans will have to punt this one away. Spartans punter is Jacob Burke, and he will left foot this one, and that's a nice punt. Does not take a Spartans bounce, however. Goes straight up in the air, down at about the 21-yard line, maybe the 22. That is a 33-yard punt with no return, and the Maroons come back out leading it 7-0.
And the Maroons so far have really kind of done what they wanted to offensively, Dave. They have thrown the ball just one time. The rest of it had been on the ground and really driving against that Case defense.
7:26 to go. We're in the first quarter here at DeSanto Field on a snowy day in Cleveland, Ohio. It has stopped. The sun is out. They had to plow off the field for today's game. Here's the snap back to Ryan. He will throw it over the middle. Zach Ross Nash. Nope, that is not Nash. It is caught instead out of the backfield by Nathan Massey, the junior tight end out of Bartlett, Illinois. And he is tackled at about the 25-yard line. Pickup of 3, second down and 7.
Just a little tight end delay and then a drag route across the middle. They ran the receivers downfield, which took the defensive backs and the outside linebackers with them, and opened it up underneath for Massey to catch the ball.
Well, Massey will stay in the game, lined up on the right side of the formation, trying to block here. They give the football to Carroll, and he slides ahead, gets about a yard out to the 26, maybe to the 27. Third down and 5 now for the Maroons.
Carroll is 5'8", 180 pounds, and he just hides behind that big offensive line. In fact, he ran into 2 offensive linemen, bounced off that contact, and still managed to dive ahead for 2 yards.
Carroll played his high school ball for the Tigers of Yorktown High School in Alexandria, Indiana. Patrick Ryan with Carroll on his right, steps back, pressure coming, fires it out, and it's incomplete. Trap job on the diving attempt by Cole Toms, the junior wide receiver out of Round Rock, Texas. Incomplete pass brings up 4th down and 5.
Heavy pressure on Patrick Ryan as Case brought the blitz. They brought 2 linebackers and a strong safety. Not enough Maroons there to block. Ryan had to step up, got hit as he threw the football, and it ended up going low to the receiver.
Dan Cronin is back deep for the Spartans, getting ready to receive the punt of Ben Cheney. Now Cheney will get a running start and shanks it. That one's going to go into the Case bench, and we'll see exactly where they mark it. Football was at the 27, and Case will take over at the 35-yard line. That's an 8-yard punt with no return. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the villain in True Grit Ben Cheney?
Well, you're testing there.
One of my favorite John Wayne movies. Aren't they after Ben Cheney?
It might be.
Yeah, I believe that's true. But this is a different Ben Cheney. But he is not happy with that punt, I guarantee you, on the Chicago sideline.
Now gritting his teeth.
1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Spartans down 7-0. Here's a little reverse. They give it to Herb. Herb will run it, and they finally cut him down. Great open field tackle by Skylar Montefalco. Boy, he sniffed that play out, was able to trip Herb up, and the Spartans will end up losing some yardage on this, -2 on the play.
Well, Herb had some running room, and he had 2 decisions to make. He could either cut back in and hope that Billy Beecher got him a block, or he could try to run to the sideline and see if he could pick up something simply on the angle. He tried to cut it back in, and that's when he got upended for a loss of 2.
4 receiver set for Billy Beecher. Over the middle for DeFrancesco, overthrew his target, and then DeFrancesco is leveled by Montefalco.
He's everywhere. He's on the outside, he's on the inside, and that little jump pass from Billy Beecher, that's the kind as a wide receiver you go back to the huddle and say, don't ever do that again. Boy, he had a ball high over the middle, and Montefalco had a huge strike zone to lay the lumber, and he did.
Well, DeFrancesco, tough though, he stays in the football game. He lines up on the right. 3rd down and 12 for the Spartans, who trail 7-0. 5:24 to go. We're in the first quarter here at DeSanto Field. Beecher back to throw. Here comes the pressure. He's in trouble. He goes down. Sack recorded by Brandon Bollock, the senior defensive lineman out of Naples, Florida. So Beecher sacked. That goes for a big loss, and a 4th and 21 now, as the Spartans lose 9 on the sack.
Yeah, unable to do anything with the short punt.
Punt coming up for the Spartans now, and it's a bad snap. Rolls away from Jake Burke. He picks it up, but now he's still in trouble and cannot kick it away. He's tackled out about the 34-yard line by the Maroons. And the Spartans put themselves in a very unfavorable defensive position here, unable to get the punt away.
Well, you had the field tipped your way for the Spartans. You had the ball at the Maroon 35 following the shanked punt. And on first down, you lose 2 yards, then an incomplete pass, then a sack, and a bad snap. I mean, those are 4 plays right in a row that you couldn't have worse things happen. And from having the ball at the Maroon 35, Chicago takes over now at the Case 34.
1st and 10. They'll hand it to Zach Ross Nash, breaking left just outside the hash mark and inside the numbers. And he is knocked down at about the 32-yard line by the Spartans. 2nd down and 8 for the Maroons, 4:26 to go. Here in the opening quarter, 7-0. The Maroons are leading it on a Zach Ross Nash 6-yard touchdown run. That came with 9:05 to go in the first quarter. Right now, approaching the 4-minute mark of the first. Ryan calls out the signals, takes the snap. They will go to Chandler Carroll, running fast outside to the right, and is tripped up and falls forward. They'll mark his progress down at about the 26-yard line.
Isaac Stern, the offensive lineman for Chicago, got a nice kick-out block. And then right up behind, that lane was created because of the kick-out block from Stern.
Jordan Esteban recorded the tackle for the Spartans, who are trying to make a defensive stand here and keep this a 7-0 game. 3rd down and 2. The snap back to Ryan. They will hand the football to Carroll. Dives ahead to the 25-yard line. He's short. Scott Surin came up there to help out defensively. And the Spartans hold him out of first down range. And it's now 4th and 1 from the 25.
At 4-down territory here, it'd be a 42-yard field goal from this point. And Chicago's going to bring in their heavy package, 2 tight end set.
Now, the way they run the football, Ed, this is a very tough order for the Case defense to hold them.
Now a 3 tight end set.
4th and 1. Spartans jumped. They got back. No flag. And a long snap count. And then a timeout's going to be taken by the Maroons. It'll be their second timeout of the first half.
And Coach Wilkinson was lucky to get that timeout called, as the play clock was between 1 and 0 when he was running down calling that timeout.
2:37 to go, 7-0 Maroons. Back with more from DeSanto Field after this 30-second timeout on the Spartans Broadcasting Network.
Have you heard the news? The Intercontinental Cleveland has earned its 10th consecutive 4 Diamond Award from AAA in recognition of its high-quality accommodations and exceptional service standards. Planning an important event like a corporate meeting, annual conference, fundraising gala, holiday party, or highly personalized wedding? Choose excellence in the Intercontinental Cleveland. Our planning professionals will take time to consider every detail and lead you through an experience which is proudly world-class. Call us today at 216-707-4100 for more details or to request a tour of our spectacular accommodations.
Looks like the Maroons will go for it on 4th and 1 from the 25-yard line. 2:37 to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Chicago. There's Zach Ross Nash. He was hit but then kept moving and gets the first down. Looked like they got a wall up there, Ed, but Zach Ross Nash ran right through it.
Yeah, he needed a yard. He got a yard and a half. And that just was, everybody stacked everybody up. And that's a bad spot for the Maroons. Good spot for Case Western.
Well,
wow.
They are going to take a look at it.
That's a lot closer than I think it should be, Dave.
Once he was hit and then moved forward, he was not brought down. It looked like he got plenty for the first down, but they're going to take a look.
But from here, I don't think he has it by more than half a football.
Referee today is Ken Johnson. As they stretch the chain out, looks like you're exactly right, Ed. About half the football is what they got past the first down marker. Ken Johnson, our referee. The umpire is Ed Rosenfield. Charles Sasser is our linesman today. The line judge is Alfonso Daniels. Back judge Tony Petrosini, the field judge Robert Majors, and the side judge is James Phillips. They are making the impartial calls in today's matchup between the Maroons and the Spartans. Ryan in trouble, got rid of it. Pass was almost caught by Chandler Carroll, and then he was wiped out on a big-time hit by the Spartans, laid out there by Owen Williams.
Owen Williams. Now, see that play, and if you want to give credit to the defense, it was the 3 defensive backs on the far side of the field that had man-to-man coverage, which is where Ryan wanted to go on a little underneath slant. It wasn't there. He had to turn back and look for the release in the screen pass. And while Williams had enough time to read it, get up on it, and as soon as the ball was delivered, he just dropped the shoulder and annihilated the receiver. I believe that was Nash.
2nd down and 10. And a 3rd timeout taken by the Maroons.
Play clock was down to 0 again.
So rather than take the penalty, they will talk things over with 2:15 to go here in the first quarter. Still 7-0 Chicago. While they take a timeout, so will we. Back with more on Senior Day from Case Western Reserve after this timeout on the Spartans Broadcasting Network.
Have you heard the news? That Intercontinental Cleveland has earned its 10th consecutive 4-Diamond Award from AAA in recognition of its high-quality accommodations and exceptional service standards. Planning an important event like a corporate meeting, annual conference, fundraising gala, holiday party, or highly personalized wedding? Choose excellence in the Intercontinental Cleveland. Our planning professionals will take time to consider every detail and lead you through an experience which is proudly world-class. Call us today at 216-707-4100 for more details or to request a tour of our spectacular accommodations.
Chicago leading at 7-0 and operating deep in Case Western Reserve territory with 2:15 to go here in the first quarter. Thanks for joining us today for Spartans football. We welcome all of the Chicago fans watching as well. Throwing over the middle. Pass is caught near the 20-yard line. Now outside the hash mark and down close to the 18-yard line. That one hauled in by the Maroons. Sid Reynolds, the sophomore wideout, a California product.
That's another one of those drag routes where the receivers will release downfield and the outside receiver then pauses and drags across the middle of the field. Chicago's yet to go downfield on the pass. They've thrown a lot of those underneath routes, a couple of screen passes. And so what you'll see is the Case Western defensive backs begin to creep towards the line of scrimmage to prevent that.
A 6-yard pickup, 3rd down and 4. Ryan on the move, fires it out, caught by the tight end, out close to the 18-yard line. I don't think they got a whole lot of positive yardage there as Massey hauls in his 2nd catch. There's an injured Spartan down there after the tackle.
That's Pete Lemaster, the outside linebacker who made the tackle. Lemaster's down. As soon as he went down, Dave, he grabbed his left knee and knew right away. So what's been a long season in terms of injuries for Case Western is going to get even longer as Lemaster, the starting outside linebacker, is going to be helped to the sideline.
Yeah, he's up, but as those of you watching can see, not moving well at all. He's going to be brought off with some serious assistance. And you're right, Ed, it has just been an avalanche of injuries starting in training camp and just extending throughout the season, forcing a lot of young players with limited experience into prominent roles on this Case team. And you know, the result, as Greg Debelak mentioned in his pregame interview, good in the sense to get these guys on the field, but it doesn't always translate into good numbers in wins and losses.
Yeah, and if you want to go back in the books a long way for Case Western. That happened back in the 05 season. They were 3-7. They got hit with a bunch of injuries following the 3rd game.
Here's a field goal attempt, and it is plenty long enough, and it is up, and it is good. Place kicker Karol Kurdzalowski nails that one, and I believe that was a 34-yard attempt. We'll check the official numbers for sure, but with 1:05 to go in the first quarter, it's now 10-0. The Maroons connect on the field goal. Kurdzalowski is now 8 of 10 on the year.
But to finish that thought, the 05 season, they were 3-7, where the the Spartans, and they suffered a ton of injuries, especially in that second half of the year. But what it led to were a lot of kids being able to play as underclassmen. The following year, the 06 season, the team was 5-5, and then all of a sudden, now these kids that were freshmen and sophomores were juniors and seniors, and that 07 team really started the run in which you saw Case go undefeated during the regular season and make postseason appearances. So what is not necessarily a blessing that year can 2 years down the road really turn into something very prominent for this program.
Well, Spartans will get it back as the Maroons will kick off. Here's another one of those short kicks. This one taken at the 37-yard line, caught on the fly by the Spartans' Ryan Berg. The outside linebacker on the kick return team takes the short kick. Ed, what do you make of that strategy of the Maroons not kicking it deep?
Well, I think what it prevents, and it may not be so much the Case kickoff return unit, but more so the kick coverage unit for Chicago. If they've had problems covering kicks this year, it allows that team an opportunity to just kind of get under the ball and make initial contact and stop and not have to worry about maintaining lanes.
Beecher will run this one on a designed quarterback draw play and is cut down at about the 39-yard line, a pickup of 1.
Well, following that run by Beecher, Case Western now has negative 13 yards in total offense for the game. Between the sacks and the muffed punt and the inability to really move the ball downfield, the Spartans are stuck in neutral this afternoon.
Beecher will roll out. He'll go downfield, and that one is over the intended target, which I believe was Colin McLeod, the senior. Incomplete. Case looking at a 3rd and 9.
Beecher rolled out and didn't look too confident in that throw, rolling to the right. Feet were still kind of dancing around. He's feeling the pressure that Chicago's putting on him. And in the end, he didn't set his feet or shoulders, and the ball sailed on him.
Going into this game today, Beecher has completed almost 58% of his passes on the season. Quick out to Lapsevic, makes the grab, but an ankle tackle cuts him down at about the 42-yard line, well short of the first down.
Yeah, Jacob Romeo, the defensive back, came over for Chicago and clicked the heels together, brought Lapsevic down.
Lapsevic, one of those guys that has battled injuries all season, just his 15th catch of the year in limited action. That's the end of the first quarter. Case looking at a 4th and 6 when we come back after 1, 10-0. The Maroons leading the Spartans on Senior Day. We'll have second quarter action for you coming up after this timeout on the Spartans Broadcasting Network.
Have you heard the news? That Intercontinental Cleveland has earned its 10th consecutive 4 Diamond Award from AAA in recognition of its high-quality accommodations and exceptional service standards. Planning an important event like a corporate meeting, annual conference, fundraising gala, holiday party, or highly personalized wedding? Choose excellence in the Intercontinental Cleveland. Our planning professionals will take time to consider every detail and lead you through an experience which is proudly world-class. Call us today at 216-707-4100 for more details or to request a tour of our spectacular accommodations.
Welcome back, everybody, to DeSanto Field on the Case Western Reserve campus. David Wilson along with Ed Dougherty. Our producer is Mike Becker, and our Media Vision crew bringing you action today of the regular season and season finale for the Spartans. This will be it, 3-6 on the year, looking to come out with a win against their UAA rival, the Maroons. Spartans have to punt this one away, and it's a good punt. Rolls all the way down close to the 17-yard line. That's where the Maroons will take over. That is a 41-yard punt by the Spartans. Nicely done by Jacob Burke. 10-0, Maroons leading it as we get underway here in the second quarter. Well, the Spartans will have, Ed, a lot of adjustments to make, and right now, with the Chicago Maroons holding the lead, you'd expect them to really start to power the football straight ahead with that vaunted running game.
Yeah, they'll just take the air right out of the football, and what that requires is Case is going to have to win on first down and stop on third down. So they've got to put Chicago in 2nd and longs, and they have to get off the field when it's 3rd down.
Patrick Ryan rolling out to the right, and he will try and run it. And he breaks a tackle and ends up getting some positive yardage as he strings it all the way to the outside sideline and steps across the 20-yard line. He's going to pick up 2 here.
Case's initial contact with Ryan was at the 12-yard line. And Ryan was elusive enough to step through one tackle, sidestep another, and finally get out to the 20-yard line. So 8 yards after contact, and what should have been a negative play for the Maroons, unfortunately for Case Western, becomes 2 on the positive side of the ledger.
Here's Zach Ross-Nash picking his way forward over the right guard, is hit and driven back, but his forward progress is going to get him 2. And they'll be looking at a second down, make it a 3rd down and 6 from the 24-yard line.
And this is where Case has to get off the field. They did an okay job on first down, prevented a big run, only picked up 2 yards. Then they stuffed Nash on second for only a gain of 2. The Spartans have to stop here on 3rd down, get the ball back near midfield.
Chicago 1 of 5 on 3rd down today. Ryan chased out of the pocket, looking downfield, pump fakes a pass, and then moves up the sideline.
They're going to mark him out of bounds.
Looks like he stepped out.
Yep, they're going to call it a sack as he was on the sideline at the 21-yard line.
Well, he was very close, Ed, to sort of tiptoeing his way down the sideline for first down yardage, but a nice job by the Spartans.
Yeah, one man to beat, and Ryan gave a nice hard pump fake with nobody behind him. There's nobody out there to throw to.
Dan Cronin will drop back to his own 40 to receive this punt from the Maroons. Ben Chaney. He will punt this one away. Line drive kick, that takes a Maroons bounce. And it will roll to the 41-yard line.
Chaney's rugby-style punts really prevent returns, Dave. There's nothing there that hangs up, and for the Spartans, you can't really get in front of it to catch it on a run either. So there's little to no opportunity for a return, and at best, Chicago gets the nice bounce and rolls at the end of those punts and still manages to tip the field towards their opponent.
Well, a 38-yard punt for Ben Chaney with no return, and the Spartans take over at their own 41-yard line. Still good field position. As the Spartans trail it by a score of 10-0 here, 13-14 to go in the second quarter. Billy Beecher hands this one up the middle, and good running room for the Spartans. That's Adam Hockman across midfield down to the 40, and finally brought down at the 23-yard line.
Over the years, we've seen Hockman be a lead blocker there. He's getting the chance to run the ball on the read option straight ahead.
Beecher will keep Hockman in the game to his right. 4 receivers set, 2 on each side. 1st and 10 Spartans. They'll hand this one up the middle again. Hockman slides down close to the 35-yard line. Had a man on his back. Defensive coverage by Brandon Bullock.
And offensive line for Case Western, shoulder to shoulder, very little splits. It's bringing that front 4 for Chicago tight as well.
2nd down and 7, a pickup of 3 for Hockman. Beecher calls out the signals in the shotgun formation, wants to run it. Gets away from Bullock and then dives ahead and gets down close to the 33. Might have picked up 2. Spartans looking now at a 3rd down. Secre will check in.
Well, they're in a situation too, Dave. This is probably 4-down territory. If you don't get it, it'd probably be a 47 to 48-yard field goal.
Jacob Burke is checked in at fullback with Secre. They're on each side of Beecher. And they will give the ball to Burke straight ahead and has the 1st down as he gets across the 25-yard line. A burst of energy through the line of scrimmage. And Burke gets Spartans another 1st down.
Scott Mainquest, the defensive lineman, just got an arm up and managed to trip him up.
No huddle. They give the ball again to Burke. Twice in a row to the fullback, and again, positive yardage for Jacob Burke, the 6-foot freshman out of Johnstown, Ohio. Spartans in the hurry up, 2nd down and 4. He'll hand the football again up the middle. This time he runs into a wall of Maroons. Never got him down, but stopped his forward progress at the 15. So 3 consecutive carries for Burke. He'll stay in the game. Secret is still in the backfield. 3rd down and 2 now for Case Western Reserve at the 15-yard line. Big 3rd down play here. The Spartans trailing it by a score of 10-0. 10:50 to go in the 2nd quarter. Sunny DeSanto Field, but cold today, 33 degrees. Beecher calling out the signals. He'll move Secret over to his left hip. And now a whistle and a timeout taken, I believe, by the Spartans.
Yeah, play clock was under 2 as Beecher was set to call the signals. Case was forced to take that timeout on 3rd and short.
Some of the Maroons, Ed, were pointing across, feeling the Spartans had 2 men in motion there. Flag did not come out.
Case can move them even if they come in motion, as long as they reset and it's more of a shift. If they're both moving in motion at the snap of the ball, they would get called for the penalty.
We have 10:37 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Final game of the season for the Spartans. They come into today's game 3-6, 3-5 in the PAC, 1-1 in the UAA. Meanwhile, the Maroons having a tremendous year. Their only loss came on October 18th against Bethel on the road, 55-21. Otherwise, they have beaten all comers. They had an actual game canceled, and I don't know the story behind their game. Was at home against Pacific.
At home against Pacific, and that's unusual that Chicago would have 10 games scheduled, because for years Chicago maintained that 9-game regular season.
Beecher wants to throw it. Hit as he let it go. He was looking for Burke out of the backfield. Montefalco was there providing defensive pressure for the Maroons.
Blitz coming, your friend and mine. Montefalco just came off the edge untouched, and Beecher never identified the blitz and was forced to throw it into the flats. Nobody was ready.
Case will try a field goal. This will be a 32-yard field goal attempt for Mitch Hopkins. Tap Tasker is the holder. Valeriano, the senior, the long snapper. The snap and hold are good. The kick is good as well. Hopkins boots it through, and the Spartans are on the board. It's now 10-3 with 10.5 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter of play. Hopkins now 2 of 2 on the season.
From a mental standpoint, that was an important drive for the Spartans to get some points out of it. They got the ball again in good field position near their own 40-yard line, moved down the field, chipped away at it, converted a couple of 3rd downs, and got to a place where they were comfortable kicking a field goal and putting points up. Now they're down just 1 score, 10-3.
The Maroons will come back out and prepare to receive the kickoff. Well, the Spartans also, Ed, went to the hurry up there and did not allow a whole lot of time for matchups or substitutions on the Maroons defense, and the running by Jacob Burke really seemed to provide a spark.
And it was more of an up-tempo, too, where being locked into the line of scrimmage, Chicago had to go with the personnel they had on the field.
Here is the kickoff. End-over-end drive all the way back to the 11-yard line. The Maroons will bring it out across the 20, 25 on the outside, and finally knocked down. The return effected there by the Maroons by Vincent Beltrano, the junior. Ended up with about a 15-yard return there out to the 26-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Maroons. They lead it by a score of 10-3.
And momentum in this game can certainly shift here. If Case can come up with a turnover, if Case can come up with a 3rd down stop, not allow Chicago to pick up any 1st downs.
Chandler Carroll on the carry, makes for the outside running left, and then cuts straight back up along the hash mark, gets to the 29-yard line, a pickup of 3 for the freshman, Chandler Carroll.
And despite some of the obstacles that the Spartans have faced this afternoon, Offense not really getting in gear. It was a turnover that has led to Chicago's only touchdown. Other than that, these two teams have kind of gone nose to nose and traded field goals.
2nd down and 7. Ryan back to throw, looking over the middle, deep downfield, has a man open, going up for the catch and making it for the Maroons. Sid Reynolds, the sophomore, deep downfield, ends up with the football at the 30-yard line of the Spartans.
And we talked about Chicago with that underneath passing, and when the play developed, Scott Surin, the free safety, moved up towards the line of scrimmage. That allowed Ryan to go over the top on one-to-one coverage, and Surin had to get back to make the tackle, but he got sucked in on the pass play.
I believe that's a 41-yard pickup. 1st and 10. Football is marked at the 31-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. And I believe that was Zach Ross Nash back in there with the carry. We'll see as they clean up the pile. And it was Zach Ross Nash. But cut down for a loss of maybe 1. Or did he get some positive yards there? Looks like he did get positive yardage. 2nd down and 6, a pickup of 4.
Yeah, they're going to move him ahead.
Football marked at the 27-yard line of the Spartans. 2nd down and 6. Man in motion. Ryan back to throw. Dumps it off. Caught by the tight end. Down close to the 20-yard line. Massey with his 3rd catch of the afternoon. Finally tackled by Scott Surin of the Spartans. They are in the red zone now, Ed, at the 19.
Chicago spread everybody out and then went with a tight end center screen. And Case had lost all containment linebacker-wise as they covered the backs, sprinting outside the numbers, and allowed for the easy pitch and catch over the middle in the 1st down.
So now at the 19-yard line, 1st and 10. New set of plays to work with for Patrick Ryan. The Chicago senior quarterback takes the snap. He wants to run it. Finds a hole up the middle and gets in there for a pickup of about 3. Finally wiped out. A nice tackle by Andrew Bathany of the Spartans.
Chicago loaded 3 wide receivers to the right. They brought their tight end to the left, and they ran behind the linebacker and the fullback with Ryan on the quarterback draw.
2nd down and 7. Football is at the 16-yard line. Check that. It was Tyler Doty on the tackle for Case.
Chicago only has 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
They'll hand this football to Zach Ross Nash, and he is tackled right about the 15-yard line. Might have gained 1.
Boy, no call. The wide receiver on the near side of the field had not stepped up to cover the tackle. Maroons got away with 1 with 5 players in the backfield.
3rd down and 6 now. Chicago leading at 10-3. We have 7:20 to go before halftime. Boy, a very pretty day here in Cleveland when you're looking out through the windows here, but very chilly down on the field. 33 at game time. Now Ryan fakes the jet sweep, rolls right, fires to the end zone. Pass is picked off in the end zone. Diving interception by the Spartans, as I believe that was Cody Calhoun making the interception, and you will not see better, Ed, as he went parallel to the ground to pick that one off.
And was it Calhoun, or was it the outside linebacker Doty?
I believe it was Calhoun, number 4,
okay,
with the interception.
Little cross underneath, and Chicago went deep, and Calhoun undercut the underthrown pass and was right there for the interception.
His first of the year. So the Spartans will bring it back out to the 20-yard line. 10-3. Spartans trailing it by 7. They will fire it over the middle to Dougherty, the senior tight end. He makes the catch and gets out across the 35-yard line. Finally tackled there by Jackson Gary. They'll mark him down at the 36 as Dougherty gets the catch here on senior day. $16-yard pickup on 1st down. Seacray is in the backfield with Beecher. 3 receivers set. Erb is alone on the right. One-on-one coverage with Vincent Beltrano. Beecher will run it. Straight ahead, gets to the 40-yard line before being tripped up and picks up 4, maybe 5 yards on the play. Second down coming up for the Spartans.
Case has gone to the 4 wide receiver set. Chicago was countered defensively, Dave, with their nickel and dime package. So they have 5 defensive backs, occasionally 6 on the field. That means only 6 men in the box for Chicago, and Beecher's identifying that and taking it on the ground.
Here's the snap back to Beecher. They will hand it to Secret, but he is hit and driven backwards. First one there defensively, Brandon Bolog, and then got a lot of help snuffing that play out. And Case now looking at a 3rd down.
Well, and where Case had adjusted and gone and audible to the draw play with only 6 in the box, Chicago then went to 4 down linemen and 2 linebackers on the edge, and Case ran right into that, didn't make the switch or the correct call at the line of scrimmage, and it cost him a down.
The ball is resting at the 40-yard line. Back to throw Beecher. Goes to Erb on the outside. Lost the football, and it's taken right out of his hands. The Maroons have it. This one going down the sideline, and let's see if he got in. It's a touchdown for the Maroons. Vincent Beltrano ripped that one right out of the hands of Brian Erb and took it to the house down the sideline.
Erb caught it, had a first down, turned upfield, and almost as if he squeezed the ball too hard, and it popped right out of his hands.
Vincent Beltrano returns that one close to 50 yards for a touchdown to make it 16-3. Here is the PAT. The extra point kick is up and good by Karol Kurdzidlowski. And the Maroons with a big momentum swing, getting the turnover and the touchdown, and they lead it by a score of 17-3.
You know, Case had picked up the momentum. They had shut down the Maroon drive. They were driving themselves near midfield, had a first down in hand, literally in hand, and the ball popped loose, and Case didn't react, and Beltrano took it all the way for a touchdown.
Beltrano, the junior out of Addison Trail High School in Wooddale, Illinois. One of the biggest plays of his career.
That story will live on forever.
Got just inside the pylon. Spartans were very close to stopping him inside the 1. 17-3 now, 5:19 to go in the second quarter, and boy, that is a big play in this football game.
Yeah, it was 10-3. Case is driving, got an opportunity possibly to tie the score, maybe even take, get within closer striking distance at the very minimum. And what happens there? The turnover and touchdown on the same play. And now it's a 14-point lead.
There's another short kick taken at the 21-yard line by the Spartans. That's Dan Cronin getting out to the numbers on the left. Tripped up after about a 10-yard return. They will mark him at the 32-yard line, so an 11-yard return on the kickoff. And the Spartans come back out offensively with 5:15 to go in the second quarter. The Chicago Maroons, coached by Chris Wilkerson in his second year. He has done a nice job, 13-5. 7-1 this season. Spartans back out offensively. Not a whole lot of time to rest. Beecher will hand the football up the middle. No, he keeps it. Sold the fake well. Tries to make for the outside. Can't turn the corner. Beecher tackled out near the Chicago bench. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Second down and 10. Burke will check back into the game, brings the play in for Beecher.
And Joe Brucker will come in at offensive line for Case Western. The senior will check in. He'll take Nate Lewis's position on the line.
Beecher standing in the shotgun. 3 receivers on the right for Billy. He'll go left for DeFrancesco. Pass high. DeFrancesco tried to bring that down with one arm and stay in bounds. Could not hang on to it. It's an incomplete pass. Third down and 10.
Well, that was out of sync when Beecher had to look down at the football. He caught it on the shotgun snap, wanted to throw it right away, but he looked down as if to spin the ball correctly before throwing it, and the timing was off from that point forward.
Well, a whistle and a timeout taken here by Case with 4:33 to go in the second quarter. They trail 17-3 right now, looking at a 3rd down and 10. And Greg Debelak and company will talk things over. Spartans wrapping up the season today. Their first year in the Pac-Ed, and a lot of adjustments, both schedule-wise and then when you mix in the injuries. Just a tough season for the Spartans, but they have battled through. They've been in some ball games against some very tough teams, but a different level of competition in the PAC, there's no doubt about it.
Well, and that PAC, that was one of the reasons that they moved over there, was the opportunity to play some solid teams week in, week out, and if you can survive that, you get your automatic bid, as the PAC has the qualifying team to the NCAA Division III tournament.
3rd down and 10. Beecher looking over the middle, looking for Dougherty, and it's just off the mark.
Boy, does it look like Billy Beecher's throwing more darts than really throwing a football. His elbow is stuck against his side. He's just kind of flicking the ball out over the middle of the field.
Has definitely been a little off today in terms of connecting with his wide receiving core. Well, the big play today, the Beltrano takeaway and subsequent touchdown. 17-3. Here's the punt by the Spartans, and it will take a Case bounce, but heads right out of bounds and goes out at the 32-yard line. That's going to be a 36-yard punt with no return from 132 to the other. The Maroons will take over, leading it by 14 with 4:21 to go here in the second quarter at DeSanto Field. Well, Ed, you and I have covered Case Western Reserve football for a long time, and we've come to these Week 10 games and knowing there's more ahead, and that is where Greg Debelak and his coaching staff want to get back to. And they are certainly building toward that with some great young players, but taking some lumps this year, including today. Zach Ross Nash up the middle. Boy, he is a handful as he gets across the 35.
And I think you couple that with the fact that right now there are only 8 seniors who are leaving the program, which means that the vast majority of the players are back next year. You get a strong recruiting class, and we mentioned it. We go back to the 2005 season, it was 3-7, and in 2006 was 5-5, so it was small steps forward. And the Spartans look like they're in that same position this year.
They'll keep the ball on the ground as we were anticipating. That was Zach Ross Nash again, and he is stopped at the 39-yard line. Be looking at a 3rd down and 4. 3:20, the clock moving. The Maroons in no real hurry today. The Maroons running the football more this year, looking more like Carnegie Mellon than the Chicago teams we've become familiar with.
Yeah, for years Carnegie Mellon could play a full football game in about 2.5 hours.
They'll go to Chandler Carroll, and he is stopped before he gets any positive yardage. They cut Carroll down.
That's KJ Peterson with the tackle, and Dave, you used the word stopped. It was more like smothered, as Peterson just engulfed him and planted him short of the 40-yard line.
Carroll, not a big young man, 5'8". KJ Peterson, who's had a very nice year for the Spartans, leading the team in tackles with 73 going into today's game, 2 sacks. He records the tackle there. 4th down and 3 now. Here's the punt by Cheney, and that one's headed out of bounds.
That one will check up near the 45-yard line.
Line of scrimmage was the 39, and let's see where they are going to mark it. Looks like they'll put it at the 44-yard line. That's a 17-yard punt.
17-yard punt, right.
His average is taking a beating today. He had an 8-yard punt earlier.
Well, then the 17 would actually enhance it a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess you're right. That's a good point. So he's happy over there now. Going from 8 to 17.
But again,
I don't know how Chris Wilkerson feels about that.
That's right.
All right, Billy Beecher back out with the offense. 5 receivers set to start this drive. 2:15 to go before halftime. Spartans will try and get some positive momentum going here. Over the middle, pass caught.
Wow, did the Spartans miss an opportunity? A whistle, a stoppage in play. Wait a minute. Coach Devleck's out beyond the numbers.
Yeah, Greg unhappy about something. Dayton Snyder made that catch. Snyder, normally a defensive end, 6'4", 235, makes the grab. I believe that is his first catch of the season.
I think the flag initially was for an ineligible receiver downfield. And they waved that off, deciding he was the end of the line. But for the Case Western, they had 5 wide receivers, 3 to the near side. Chicago only had 2 defensive backs in coverage, and 1 was a linebacker.
Beecher will pitch it out. Caught by Secray and dives ahead for the first down as he gets across the 45, close to the 44-yard line. They'll move the chains. Friends, welcome back to Case Western Reserve, DeSanto Field. Case trying to score before the end of the half. Beecher has thrown an interception. It's just been picked off by Chris Dengler, the junior.
Late flag come flying in, Dave, and I think it's a push in the back during the return. Kind of a post-possession foul, so irrelevant in terms of.
Billy Beecher throwing the INT, his 11th of the season, and that stalls or snuffs out the drive by the Spartans as they had gotten in, Ed, close to the red zone, but a holding penalty moved the ball back out to the 35, and they threw it for the goal line. Dengler makes the pick for the Maroons. Dengler looks like his first of the year. 16 seconds left. The Maroons are going to be happy with a 17-3 lead. That'll be the final play of the second quarter. Spartans were able to move the ball a little bit, Ed. They got within striking distance, but the interception takes away the chance to put points on the board before halftime. And so here we are at the end of one half of play, and this game dominated by the Maroons.
Well, 3 turnovers in the first half for Case Western. 2 result in 10 points for Chicago. The third one stops a drive for Case as they were approaching the red zone at the end of the half. So if you want the storyline, it starts with one word, and that's turnovers.